What's up, YouTube? Oh man, I'm back. It's been a long time. I had a lot of things going on, but we'll be making appearances on here and there, more often than not. Uh, Today, I got my man with me, my brother from another mother, Chris Henderson. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm cold as hell up here in Indiana, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, man, it's Carhartt weather in New York. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
is here too.
Like you seen that picture I posted with the cops there. You see how they was dressed. So yeah, it's cold out here, man. But
Yeah.
we got a big heavyweight showdown coming up, man.
Biggest heavyweight fight, well, in America in quite some time. The
I, I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, it's the biggest heavyweight fight in America in quite some time,
You got to go back a while, actually.
quite a while. The events, I say in America simply because of the events that they have in the UK are just bigger events. They got a better fan base. I hate to admit that, but their fan base is better.
Yeah,
On average, boxing's just a bigger sport over there,
right.
plain and simple.
They got
And
soccer and rugby and boxing.
yeah, exactly.
You know, as us, we got like 10 different leagues for just football. So
Yeah, I was working on that popularity of boxing article, and I remember looking, and it was like the 12th most popular sport.
hey,
You
don't
had,
don't cheat us. 11th.
but it was down the line. You had, I mean, golf, NASCAR racing, all that's more popular.
So
So yeah,
so basically, this is it. Did you get to watch a little bit of that conference today?
I watched almost all of it. Yeah, I sure did.
Okay, so before we get into the breakdown, let's start there. It seems like Tyson Fury is trying to get into Wilder's head, and
Hmm.
I talked to you about this earlier, and you said something that was very interesting to me. You said, "Well, hell, that's not going to work." And I started thinking about it, and then after that, you said, "All he has to do is land, his punch."
One shot.
Yeah, and then I started thinking, and I was like, "Well, yeah, he could lose the first 6, 7 rounds."
He
If
could lose 35 minutes and 40 seconds of this fight and win
And
it.
if he lands that right hand flush, fight might be over.
Yeah. I made a pretty big bet on this fight today.
Oh
I'll give it.
shit!
I'm not going to give it away until we get to that point, but I did make a pretty big bet, a pretty substantial bet. Actually, it would pay most people's rent for a few months, 3 months, 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean?
But it also seems like both guys get on each other's skin. So as much as Fury tried to play it off, you could tell he got a little agitated today.
Hmm.
So uh, let's get right into it, man. How does this one play out?
I think early on, you're going to see Fury use a lot of movement. Somebody posed a question in our group earlier this week. It might have been yesterday or it may have been this morning, but I think it was Chris Walker from out in San Francisco. He's asked, is Tyson Fury more skilled than Luis Ortiz? No, he's not. Okay. What he is a lot more awkward.
Yeah,
His footwork is on par with Ortiz. He's got
yeah.
elite level footwork for a
He
big
does.
guy. He really does.
At one point,
His-
he had the best footwork as a heavyweight, in my opinion.
He may still do. He may still do. It's there. It's close. The way he moves, he's so nimble, uh, and he's going to use a lot of movement to try to avoid that right hand. He's going to try to keep Deontay Wilder spinning to his left side. Wilder's going to have to develop a stiff jab if he wants to ever try to get that right home, and not that pawing jab you see him like to use. He needs to develop some type of stiff jab, and I would put it to the body, to the midsection, to his chest. You know what I mean? Do something like that. Try to get, you don't need him to stop moving. What you need him to do is pause just long enough to land that right hand.
And,
You know what I mean?
and he doesn't have
Yeah.
to learn how to have a stiff jab because we actually seen it.
Yeah, he's capable of it. He's very capable
He's
of
just
it.
not consistent with it.
One thing I have seen leading up to this, I've seen a lot of videos of guys working with him, trying to emulate Tyson Fury. There is no emulating Tyson Fury. We actually did this on air one time before talking about this. They don't have neither side has a perfect sparring partner for this fight. Neither side.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Not even a decent sparring partner for this fight. There is not another Deontay Wilder. There is not another Tyson Fury in this division. Plain and simple. You don't emulate. I've seen Malik Scott try it. I've seen JD's, bless his heart, try it. You don't emulate Tyson Fury. That movement and stuff, that fancy feinting and stuff they're trying to do ain't Tyson Fury, man. Because there's a difference between a guy feinting you that's 6'2" and a guy feinting you that's 6'9", that's bigger than you as you're looking up to him. All right? It's just naturally more intimidating.
Right.
Ask Vladimir Klitschko if you think I'm shitting you. He could not pull the trigger to save his life simply because he was outsmarted. He was outsmarted. And I think you'll see a lot of the same with Deontay Wilder if this fight goes the distance.
And also, I felt like Vlad was a little he let Fury get to him. Before,
he did.
You know, he was in his head. So
he absolutely did.
You know, that's how I feel about that.
Absolutely did. There is a roadmap to success to beat Deontay Wilder. I've not seen nobody try yet. But the problem is Tyson Fury is not the man to do that.
Right.
Beating Deontay Wilder means you need to be so close you can smell his breath. You see what I'm saying? You're smothering his shots. Get inside and work him.
Right.
Push him out. If he starts to try to separate to get the distance, grab him, clinch. Make the referee separate you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a reason that Vladimir Klitschko was so successful against Deontay in sparring. Because he loved to fight that way.
Right.
You know?
Right. So
I don't think Tyson Fury's the guy that can do that. For Tyson Fury to win this fight, he's going to have to utilize a lot of movement. He's going to have to utilize a lot of power feints. What I mean by power feints is not just feinting with the hand or feinting with the shoulder or even just the head. I'm talking about sell it. Really sell it. Shift them shoulders hard. Move that head hard. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To make Wilder hesitate long enough to not pull the trigger. That's all he has to do. But he's got to constantly move to Wilder's left side. Constantly got to move to Wilder's left side. And for him to get off as he's moving to the left side, stop, back, plant. Stop, back, plant, hit him. Come back out of it. He's not going to be able to sit down on the punches long enough because then he runs the risk of Wilder countering him with the right hand. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for him to win this fight, he's going to have to box his way to a decision win. Plain and simple. Now, I've heard some speculation today that maybe he'll get robbed if that happens. I'll say this. Luis Ortiz was well on his way to getting robbed if that fight would have went the distance. Okay, that's for sure. I had him up on the cards. He was beating Deontay Wilder at that time. Now, who's to say Wilder could have easily won the last 3 rounds and changed all that? You know what I mean? And made it to where it's a good close fight where Wilder wins. But I think I had it 6 rounds to 3 in favor of Ortiz at that time, and each one of them. Well, Wilder had a 10-8 round, though. I think he had a knockdown in the 5th prior to that. So I won't throw that out, but he's got a good referee in front of him. Both guys have a referee that'll let the guy work. You know what I mean? Jack Reese will allow him to work as long as they keep it clean. Jack Reese, although may call Wilder for the punches behind the head, in the back of the head. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Deontay Wilder's the only man I've ever seen in my life throw a straight right hand and land it to the back of the head of the man standing in front of him. Okay, and I'm not trying to be funny. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, but I mean, his shots are so loopy that I can see why that happens.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think the ref is going to let both guys get away with some things within reason.
Within reason. Jack Reese, absolutely. He sure will. He's a great guy. He's a very good ref, actually. He's a very good ref.
Yeah.
And he'll allow the guys to fight, and I think he'll allow them to get away with something within reason. Now, if he sees it a couple of times, he'll tell Wilder, he'll say something. Wilder really can't help it. Wilder, the reason I say he can't be emulated, people say, well, you can find another tall, lanky guy that throws long right hands. Yeah, but you can't. What you can't find is another guy that has some crazy ass angles he has, because nothing comes straight. You know.
Yeah,
other than maybe his up, maybe his up jab,
yeah,
but everything else comes from a crazy angle. And here's the funny thing: you've been on the air with me. Me and you've had JD's on several times. All right, they practice that shit.
yeah, like the layup thing.
Yeah,
Where when he
they
knocked out the burn, when he did like
yeah
it looked like he was skating almost.
yeah they
So,
practice that. So it makes you wonder: is he really as bad as we think, or you know what I mean? But when he becomes bad, and I actually said this to Jay on air. When he becomes bad and uncoordinated looking, to where he's just slinging shit, and ain't that if he's got a decent boxer in there, decent fighter in there, is going to counter and beat the shit out of him. Is when he thinks he has the other guy hurt. That's when he loses complete control of what the hell he's doing. You know what I mean? And Gerald Washington. We can go on and on. Stavern, you can just go on and on with guys he's done that with. You know, so that's when I see him completely lose control.
yeah,
We joked about it. Mark Breland saying, "Hey, we got a game plan till he walks in the ring." You know what I mean? And then it's just, oh well, he's just fighting again. He looks like a guy that grew up on the streets fighting, that's accidentally put on a pair of boxing gloves. You know what I mean?
yep.
But hey, it works. It works. So I can't knock it. It worked. He's a great guy. I like him. He did lose his cool a little bit at the press conference today. And yes, absolutely. Tyson Fury is trying to get in his head. He feels that's his best chance, I think, because it's worked for him before. So why not try it again? He is probably the second best shit talker in combat sports now, behind Conor McGregor. And hey, the
Man,
but I just do not see him. I'll tell you my bet earlier. I bet $2,000 this fight does not go over. The over under is 9.5 rounds. I don't see it going to round 10.
okay.
I don't see it going to round 10. And who's going to win if it's by KO? It almost has to be Deontay Wilder. Now, I see a lot of people say Fury don't have any power. Fury has chose to sit and slug a couple of times in his career. It's very limited, but the fights are out there. And he does have decent power if he commits to the punch. The problem is he's not going to be able to commit to this because of fear. He fears that right hand. Any man that gets in there with Deontay Wilder and don't fear that right hand is fucking stupid. Excuse my language, but that's the truth. Because you know it's coming, and if it lands, you got a big problem. Big problem.
Right.
And it may land to the ear, it may land to the temple, it may land to the top of the skull, but it's going to land eventually in this fight, and I just don't think it's going to be 9 rounds before it does.
Well, so you see this as a Wilder KO?
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely do.
But you see, obviously,
and here's the thing: I don't want to hear the shit afterwards about how he took advantage of Fury being off and so on. I think Deontay Wilder beats the very best version of Tyson Fury. Now, I say that while I still favor Joshua to beat Wilder, if they ever fucking get in there. If Joshua ever grows the balls to actually get in there with him.
I've been on that ass about that.
Hey, I'm on both of them. I get on both of them's ass. I get on every fighter's ass. It don't bother me to get on any fighter's ass.
I picked earlier on. I mean, we've been on so many different platforms, and we have so many different platforms. One of the earlier platforms that we started, shout out to those guys. And back then, I used to say, well, yeah, I'll favor Joshua, and if that fight ever happens, shit like that. But ever since the comments that Joshua made about if you want to go to the gym, train a fighter to face Deontay Wilder, like, that just never sat right with me. And ever since then, I hope Wilder knocks him the fuck out. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I'll be pulling for Wilder if they fight. Yeah, I just don't think his technical deficiencies is good enough to withstand Joshua's power too.
Which is why I originally picked Joshua.
If Fury has that power, then I'd be picking Fury right here. You know what I mean? So
you go if the more technical fighter has power himself, then you got to
you've got to lean toward him to
right,
land first
right,
because he's supposed to.
get that.
But yeah,
Yeah. So here we are. I see the fight. I see Fury having a lot of success early. Okay, and then eventually getting caught.
yeah, me too.
And
I see him actually probably being ahead on the cards when he gets caught.
yeah, I actually posted the question in the group yesterday because I wanted to see what kind of answers people will give me. And for those of you that are listening to this, the group is Eastwick Boxing. It's on Facebook. You are more than welcome to go in there and and we actually answer questions. We probably give you the group probably gets a lot of news that other people don't get till much later on. So we try to stay very informative as far as like if when you go in there. But I posted the
It's
question.
the only boxing group I've been in. I was tagged a couple of times in Fight Vault, and I answered a question, and I was tagged in another group and answered a question. But I don't. I'm not going to circulate through these boxing groups no more.
Right. Right.
There's a couple personal pages I'll go on, whether it be mine, yours, or my wife's, or somebody's, but I don't. I'm trying to limit the social media as much as possible. Although, so if you're listening, don't tag me in another group, please.
Yeah. Like we don't, and like there's certain news that we just give out. Like we even if we know we're gonna do something on it, we just give it out anyway to the group. And if you want to be on there, you're more than welcome. But I posted the question yesterday was if this fight goes to distance, who wins? And if distance and jokingly you said, and that shit was funny. You were like, well, yeah, if it goes to the distance, if it goes to distance, Fury wins. And then
Wilder and Fury wins.
Oh no, yeah, if it goes to distance, Wilder wins, and if it ends up by knockout, Fury wins. And I believe that's exactly what Tyson Fury said today. So
yeah.
So
he did.
So I found that pretty funny. Most of the group answered if it goes 12, there's a good chance that Fury wins. And I don't feel that way. I actually have Wilder winning this fight either way. Number one.
That's very possible because I think everybody's assuming that Fury will definitely win the early rounds. I don't just give that away. The reason I say that is because he's going to be hesitant. Yeah. Whereas Wilder will definitely be the more aggressive guy early. Fury's going to be hesitant to exchange it all early.
But here's my take on that too. If he falls and he happens to get back up, okay, I think he'll keep falling. And if he makes it to the final bell, all the knockdowns will be the difference in the score. So
could be.
So I see something like a scenario like that. But I feel like if he falls and gets back up, eventually he's not going to get back up.
We've seen Fury
put people to sleep.
Yeah, we've seen Fury get knocked down a couple times in his career. Both were kind of like flash knockdowns. Here comes the thing: is if he lands the big right hand, and Fury does get back up, and is able to weather the storm, we have a whole different ball game from there.
Right.
We have a whole different ball game from there. But I just can't see it, man. I don't know if anybody. There is no Gennady Golovkins and Canelo Alvarez's at the heavyweight division. What I mean by that is just all-time great chins. All right, there is no George Chuvalo probably had the greatest chin of all time for a heavyweight. Never went down. He was stopped one time because the referee stepped in, but he never went down. And he faced the biggest punchers in the game, from Sonny Liston to, Shavers, you name it.
Yeah.
And this guy just had a monster chin, and there is no guy like that in the division right now. At least I haven't seen him yet. There could be. We really don't know because until you get chin checked by the Tuscaloosa Slammer, you know what I mean? You don't know exactly how good your chin is.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I just feel like, Jesus, man, that hand is sneaky strong. And You would never guess it looking at the guy like that, but that's what happens, folks.
It's because of his leverage he gets. The length,
Right.
yes, the leverage he gets is unbelievable.
Right, and the fact that he keeps us down helps him get that leverage.
Yeah,
Believe it or not.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So he's a tall, lean guy against a much bigger, tall guy. But one thing I noticed about Fury too, and correct me if I'm wrong, he tends to move his head a lot, but he's still.
He does, but he also he almost has a pattern with that. I mean, not necessarily a pattern, but it's continuously the same movement if you watch it.
Correct.
But I don't know if Deontay Wilder's the guy that times that. A guy that could definitely time that is a Luis Ortiz. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But here's my take.
I don't know if Wilder is that guy that can time that.
He's been fighting much shorter guys, so can he get away with doing that in this one? That's
he's going to have to be able to move
his feet a little bit.
It's almost like an incorporation of the shoulder roll you'll see Tyson do sometime, to where he'll pull his shoulder up and move his head away. But that does, it creates a spot right behind the ear that Wilder could still land on. And if he lands there, you're going to sleep, guys.
And he throws so wide that he might just land it there by accident.
Exactly. So we'll see. But I just can't see him getting away from that right hand. I can't see him getting away from that right. But what I will know is by round 3, I'll know how this fight's going to end up. Pretty sure I'll know exactly what's going to happen. If I see any hesitation from Deontay Wilder, I'm going to rip my ticket up because it's useless. Because Tyson Fury has gotten his head. Although I don't see that being possible. I don't see that. Well, anything's possible. This is boxing, but I don't see that being likely. I didn't think he could have gotten Klitschko's head either. Right. It's harder on the average to get guys like Klitschko's head than a guy like Wilder's head, honestly, on the average. But Wilder it's one punch, man. It's about one punch for him, and he's going to take the time to set that one punch up. And I'm actually going to predict like a 6th round knockout.
So he goes down midway.
That's what I figure. Yeah.
Okay. So, shit, man. I almost feel like we're gonna have to come back tomorrow or something, man, because there's the other fight that's happening on that night. Showtime.
Yeah, I'm interested in that fight.
And I want to get into that a little bit, but we're gonna save that. We're gonna save that. I got Wilder winning somewhere between the 6th and 8th round by knockout. Nothing against Tyson Fury.
No, I like Tyson Fury.
I actually like the guy.
I admire his story. Just like Wilder, I admire both of them story.
Yeah.
So,
hey, man, and you know what? To fight your demons and come out on the other side, there's something to be said about it.
Exactly. Now, I'm much like you in that the drug addiction, to me, that's weak-mindedness.
Yeah.
All right. But if he's really got a legitimate mental health issue that he's had and stuff like this, the fact that he come back, you see how big this guy was at one time?
That's what I mean.
That he dedicated himself to losing that, and doing all that within 12 months, that's amazing.
I remember when I used to update you guys about his weight. And yeah, whatever. Like,
yeah, we laughed it all.
Like, oh, but he's coming, I'm telling you. And you know what? You got to commend him. They called up. They asked about a fight. He took the challenge. Yeah. So you got to commend the guy, man. And it's going to be an awesome night, Saturday night. Showtime is doing a pay-per-view, but they're also doing a dual card, aren't they? So
yeah, the card with Adonis Stevenson and Kovacic comes on right before the pay-per-view.
So I would try to get
7:30 Eastern. 7:30 Eastern, I believe.
I would try to get Chris on tomorrow, hopefully. And
absolutely.
We could talk about that one. But it's going to be a nice card. You guys need to all watch it. You guys need to support the sport, guys. I mean, this is what we do. Run
out to the theater and watch it if you have to.
Yeah. I mean, just go out and watch it, man. It should be a good fight. The undercard, it leaves some things to desire for a pay-per-view. I'll admit
Yeah,
that
definitely
much.
leaves some things to be desired. Yeah,
But
I am interested in seeing how Jared Hurd does on the comeback
yeah,
from
that's the
shoulder
one thing that
surgery. It's a
that's the one thing
him
I want to see.
him and Lomachenko are both returning and fighting before Keith Thurman, and they're
Yeah.
both coming off of shoulder surgery. My
Hey,
God.
hey, Chris left Facebook and came back to the group quicker than Keith Thurman. So so I actually was gonna put that post. Who we gonna see first, Chris or Thurman? So Thurman actually is coming back January 26th, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, against Josecito Lopez, right?
Yep, that's who he's fighting.
Yep. So we're gonna keep this channel going, and our other channels. We're doing a lot of different things. We're in a lot of different places. Too many right now to name. We have had a very successful year from both of our ends, as far as our names getting out there and stuff like that. We're pretty much, if we felt like going to this fight, we could have pretty much applied for credentials and we would have been there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've been to so many fights, we prefer to watch them from home, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, I would much rather watch a fight from home.
Meeting a fighter outside of outside of interviewing them does nothing for me. So I don't get struck or any of that stuff. So it's like, growing up in New York City could do that to a kid, I guess. So
yeah, that changes things a little bit.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But we're glad you could be with us. We're gonna go ahead and cut this short, but we're pretty much done. Wilder in the 6th round. I'm your boy Wilson Urena. This is my man Chris Henderson, and we out.